There's a jar of mayonnaise in your fridge right now, and there's a good chance the recipe inside it has quietly changed your health status, since there's always a change in the ingredients from the last time you actually read the label. Same brand, same jar, different food. If you want to know exactly which brands changed and which ones didn't, stick around and hit subscribe, because we're about to open 7 jars and read every single label so you don't have to. Segment 1, Sir Kensington's. Let's start with the jar that looks the most expensive before you even open it. Glass jar, matte label, a name that sounds like old money. Sir Kensington's Classic Mayo. And to be fair, the ingredient list is genuinely clean. Sunflower oil, water, egg yolks, vinegar, cane sugar, lemon juice, mustard, salt. No gums, no modified starch, no EDTA. That's real. But here's the thing about sunflower oil. It's a commodity crop, same category as soybean oil, pressed at industrial scale and priced accordingly everywhere else in the aisle. And Sir Kensington's is a newer brand. That heritage feel on the label is a design choice, not 100 years of history. A jar like this often runs close to double what a standard brand costs per ounce. It's a cleaner product than most of the shelf. It's just not as different as the price tag wants you to believe. Next up, the jar with no story at all. Segment 2. Great value, real mayonnaise. No glass jar, no heritage name, just the lowest price on the shelf. And it's the most honest jar in this whole investigation, because it doesn't pretend to be anything else. Here's how it's actually built. The retail price gets locked in first, at every Walmart in the country, and the recipe gets designed backward from what's left over. According to the label, that's soybean oil, water, eggs, vinegar, salt, sugar, and calcium disodium EDTA. The sugar is there to mask bitterness that develops in soybean oil over months of storage. The EDTA keeps the flavor from turning metallic on an unrefrigerated truck. Quality control isn't checking, does this taste good? It's checking that a jar from Florida tastes identical to one from Oregon. That's a real achievement. It's also why it tastes like almost nothing in particular. Now the one that's been in your family's fridge the longest. Segment 3. Hellmann's Real Mayonnaise. Blue and yellow label, the one you didn't choose, you inherited it. It built that trust honestly, decades ago, on a short list. Eggs, oil, vinegar, salt. Here's what's actually on the jar today. Soybean oil first, then water, whole eggs and egg yolks, vinegar, salt, sugar, natural flavors, and calcium disodium EDTA. Every one of those has a job, but none of them is the recipe that built the reputation. Soybean oil oxidizes fast once you open the jar. The EDTA is there because this formula has to survive warehouses and distribution centers for months before it reaches you. What you're trusting is the memory of the brand. What's in the jar has been quietly adjusted for decades to get there. And now, the one that took me the longest to get right. Segment 4. Kraft Mayo with olive oil. Kraft Mayo with olive oil. Green and gold packaging. Made with olive oil. Right on the front. Positioned like the smarter choice for anyone trying to eat a little lighter. Here's what the actual label says. It's officially reduced fat mayonnaise. Still legally mayonnaise. But water is the first ingredient, and modified food starch is doing a lot of the work an emulsion of real fat and egg would normally do on its own. Olive oil is real, and it's actually the second ingredient on the list, ahead of the canola and soybean oil that also make up the formula. So it's not a case of olive oil being buried at the bottom for show. What it is a starch-thickened, reduced-fat product built to survive that same long shelf life every other budget mayo needs, just wearing a healthier-sounding front label. Now that you know what to watch for, here's what actually held up. Quick gut check before we get to the good jars. Which one of these 4 is sitting in your fridge right now? Drop the brand in the comments. I want to see how many of us are about to go check a label tonight. Segment 5. Duke's Mayonnaise. The original, not the light version. Southern staple. Built on refusal. No sugar, no fillers. Just eggs, oil, and vinegar. In proportions that don't need help holding together. Here's the proof of how clean that formula really is. When the company tried to make a lighter version, the original recipe had nothing redundant to fall back on. Making Duke's Light required adding 5 new ingredients: modified starch, xanthan gum, potassium sorbate, and EDTA. Just to rebuild the texture the original pulled off with 3. When removing fat costs you 5 new additives, The original was doing real work. Segment 6. Primal Kitchen. Primal Kitchen Mayonnaise. This is the jar with an expiration date that actually means something. According to the label, avocado oil, organic eggs, vinegar, mustard, salt, rosemary extract. No starch, no gums, no EDTA, no sugar. Avocado oil is naturally higher in monounsaturated fat, so it resists oxidation better than the seed oils in the avoid pile, and it holds a faint buttery flavor those oils don't. The trade-off is real. It's pricier, and without synthetic preservatives, it spoils faster and separates more easily. That's not a flaw. Faster spoilage is what tells you the oil is real. It lives, and then it ends. Segment 7. Chosen Foods. And the pick I'd actually hand someone standing in the aisle, Chosen Foods Avocado Oil Mayonnaise. 10 years ago, a clean label avocado oil mayo lived only in the specialty aisle. Today it's at eye level at Walmart, Costco, and Target, right next to Hellmann's and Kraft. The label, avocado oil, cage-free eggs, vinegar, mustard, honey, salt, rosemary extract. No gums, no modified starch, no synthetic preservatives, and no water as the lead ingredient. It costs more than Hellmann's. But it's not hiding in a specialty store, charging a premium for scarcity. It's on the same shelf, at the same eye level, proving a clean formula can compete at retail scale. Now, check it yourself. Here's the whole method, and it takes 30 seconds in the aisle. Flip the jar over before you look at the price. Read the first 3 ingredients only. That's most of what you're buying. If you see calcium disodium EDTA or modified food starch near the top, that's a shelf life ingredient, not a flavor ingredient. Not dangerous, just a sign of what the formula was optimized for. Count the total ingredients. Under 8 or 9 is a good sign. Check the expiration window. A shorter one after opening usually means fewer synthetic preservatives, not a worse product. Mayonnaise was always just a fat, an egg, and something acidic, held together by patience. Most of what's on that shelf has been engineered to survive a warehouse instead. Now you know which jars still remember what they're for. If this changed what you'll reach for next time, share it with whoever still got Hellmann's or Kraft in their fridge. They're reading that label the same way we all used to. And hit subscribe, because tomorrow we're doing the same thing to the foods you love to eat